get stronger. We don't break, no, we don't break. Stronger, stronger. No, we don't break, no, we don't break. Stronger, stronger. No, we don't break, no, we don't break. Stronger, stronger. Gotta take it day by day. If you wanna get stronger, no, we don't break, no, we don't break. Stronger, stronger. No, we don't break, no, we don't break. Stronger, stronger. No, we don't break, no, we don't break. Stronger, stronger. Gotta take it day by day. If you wanna get stronger.
Hi, everybody. I'm Hollis Heath. I'm the director of Next Step Up programs, and I'm really honored that you all would join us today for So You Want to Work in Social Media. We are elated to have you today, especially as we're wrapping up the year. And we want to thank all of the young women and mentors who have longed on with us this afternoon or this evening if you're further east. And we'd like to recognize everybody here who's here for the first time experiencing Step Up. So we welcome you, and please give us a hi in the chat. Tell us where you're logging in from. I'm logging in from Los Angeles. We're really looking forward to getting to know you. So before we get started, I want to share just a couple of reminders. First, we're asking that everybody please adjust your display name to reflect three things. So first, we want to have your name and then your role and then your pronoun. So you can look at the screen and kind of see what I'm talking about, but that's going to be especially important for us as we go into our breakout groups a little bit later. And then second, we're going to ask that everybody who is able to please turn your camera on. Even though we're not physically together, we like to create an experience that feels intimate like we are. So if you're able to turn your camera on, it would be great if you could do so. Finally, want to let you know that everybody's mics will be on mute until we go into our breakout rooms, and then you'll have the opportunity to network and we'll jump into an activity. So we're just going to ask that you hang on until that time. And then finally, if you need help with anything throughout today's event, you can please reach out in the chat to Juliet. So that's going to be Juliet Staff She. She'll be able to answer any questions that you may have. Our hope for our time together really is that you get to explore many of the different possible career paths within social media, that you have the opportunity to network, and that you get to try out your social savviness with the help of some of our mentors. So take a look at the screen to see today's agenda. We're going to start out with a panel moderated by our Step Up champion, Baba Holland. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions. And then we'll go into our breakout rooms and do some speed networking. And then, as I mentioned before, we're going to work on a social media consultation project. So if that sounds good, we'll move forward. Awesome. Great. So our moderator for today's panel is Baba Holland. Baba Holland is a corporate executive turned entrepreneur. She is the founder of Baba Holland Agency, a marketing and consulting and branding agency. Baba brings a wealth of industry experience and an entrepreneurial vision to lead her company. She uses the power of strategy and creativity to drive business for her clients. She has 13 plus years of experience building and leading top tier brands across a wide range of categories, and we're elated that she said yes to moderate. So please join me in welcoming her in the chat. So welcome, Baba.
Thank you, Hollis. I'm honored to be moderating this panel of social media powerhouses from the Step Up Network. I know they have expert knowledge to share with you all about the social media industry. So our first panelist is Katie Roletto. Katie Roletto is a creative producer specialized in social media and mobile content creation strategy. Katie's background includes over 10 years of diverse experience in video and photo production. Currently, she is the creative content manager at Benefits Cosmetics, where she manages a team of content creators as well as an outside production partners for both video and photo digital needs. From social media to nationwide campaigns, Katie strategizes and oversees the video and photo execution to ensure that everything produced is bursting with the Benefit brand DNA, which of course is based in laughter being the best cosmetic. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, hello, Baba. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and chat social media with everybody.
Awesome. Our next panelist is Rocio Ramirez. Rocio Ramirez is a seasoned digital talent manager with a demonstrated history of working in the digital and entertainment industry. Rocio helps content creators turn social media fame into diversified businesses at Collab Inc. She is currently focused on working with diverse and culturally conscious creators with strong US audiences in an effort to bridge the gap in diversity, equity, and inclusion in the digital space. When Rocio is not consuming content, you can find her planning her next travel adventure or checking out the new trendy restaurant. She also is a Step Up alumna from LA. Welcome, Rocio.
Hi, everyone, and hi, Baba. Thank you for the introduction. I'm so excited to be here as well with these amazing powerhouses that you mentioned. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Thank you. Finally, our last panelist is Thais De Jesus, another Step Up alumni. Thais is a social media manager / strategist at Foot Locker Women. She is known for her ability to bring people together online and her strategies built around culture versus trends. In the past few years, she's worked with startups and larger agencies on digital marketing campaigns and experiential activations for brands and verticals ranging from beauty, entertainment, CPG, and retail. Outside of work, Thais uses her free time to stay on top of social trends, binge watch Real Housewives, that includes me, one of my favorites, and try the best food in NYC. Welcome, Thais.
Thank you for that introduction. And now we have something to chat after this call about Real Housewives.
Definitely. So to start this session, I'd like to open with a general question for all of you. As we know, social media covers a lot of different things, from content creation, digital marketing, influencer marketing, photography, and video, just to name a few. My question is more of a general question. If each of you could give a brief description of what you actually do in your day-to-day tasks, and maybe also include what entry-level job title would lead to your career. Katie, let's start with you.
Absolutely. So my job, truly, and I think the rest of the speakers will say the same, changes pretty day to day. It's pretty different each day. Really what I do at Benefit Cosmetics is I'm in charge of all the photo and video production, which is mainly for social media and for digital, but also for any sort of retailers that need content. Like if you go to Sephora and you want to figure out how to put a mascara on, you'll watch a video that we created. Or if it's in store, you go and you see a display. That's a little bit of where my world touches. So it's pretty much day to day, it's different. Some days it's being on set, having a shoot and making sure all that goes as planned. And other days it's planning, and other days it's looking and seeing, what's working in social media and what do we need to adapt our content to address those trends. So at Benefit, what a really appropriate kind of entry-level job would be is anything coordinator. At that point, we're looking for people who have some sort of education in that background, but really we're looking for people who are excited and just really want to do what they're applying for. So showing that excitement is really kind of the best thing that I have number one on my list when looking for an entry-level position.
Great, thank you for that. And I think that helps when you work for a bigger company. I think you guys have a large following, so you can give some insight into what that corporate business is looking for. So Rocio, how about you?
Yeah, same with me. Every day is different. And it depends on which creator I'm working on, or what the creator is working on as well. So one day it could be helping a creator strategize with their content and how to get their fans from one platform to a different platform. Another day can be negotiating a brand deal on their behalf and making sure that everything from deliverables and what they need to deliverables is what they need to post on social media is being communicated to the creator, and vice versa. Another day could be creating a merch line with the creator, or planning a tour with a creator. So yeah, definitely every day is different with creators and managing creators for me. And in terms of entry level positions at Collab, so Collab is a digital studio, and so we have different departments. So as far as like the talent department, in the management or coordinator positions would be great for entry level positions. But if you wanted to focus on working with brands, maybe a coordinator or management position in the brands team would be good, or just like assisting the executives at Collab would also be great. So any of those jobs would be great for entry level at Collab.
Nice, thank you. And Thais, how about you?
Yeah, I feel like they just ditto to everything you said. So I wear multiple hats. So that looks like sometimes being on set and capturing behind the scenes. I work a lot with vendors since Foot Locker is a store that has tons of vendors and they're selling like Uggs and Reeboks and all that stuff. So I work alongside with them just to strategize on what their content might look like on our feed. But like the overall goal of what I do is being able to speak to women from the Foot Locker platform and remind them that they're a store that still speaks to them, even though overall the masses might be like men branded items. But in terms of what entry level role, it's really a coordinator level, or tons of social media internships. I've seen fellowships and internships that really help people get through the door and get to be in a position where I am.
Oh, thank you. So it sounds like a lot of coordinator positions for entry level to get into these roles, or maybe even internships. So my next question is for Rocio. What inspired you to pursue a career in social media? Because I feel like maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, social media wasn't even a viable career field. So what made you decide to go into this role?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a millennial and I grew up with the internet, but the internet back then is nothing to do with the internet that it is now. And so never in a million years that I imagined myself working in the social media or in the digital space. But what inspired me from being on social media platforms and what inspires me now is the fact that there's people on social media that are sharing their stories and are capable of building communities online and just sharing their creativity online. And even to this day, that's what drives me and that's what inspires me to kind of bring together my entertainment and business skills and applying that to help creators that are on these platforms trying to just be themselves and create content online and just kind of leveraging that to their advantage. So that's what inspires me, just seeing people being themselves and being creative online.
Nice. How about you, Thais?
Yeah, I think for me, it was just all about creating community. I went to Twills and I was always surrounded by women, and just being able to create that community and show love to each other felt like a heartwarming thing. And so as I entered the digital space and realized that social is really about creating that community for a specific brand or for a specific person, it just felt good. And so what better way to do it than work on the women's side of the business and really being able to speak to women about everything and anything, specifically fashion. So yeah.
Sounds really good. How about you, Katie? And do you mind talking, is this your first job or what were you doing before that? And how was that transition?
Yeah, so I actually started working. I have a degree in film. I always thought I wanted to work on movie sets and do that kind of work. And I realized that I really enjoyed working in multifaceted parts. I really love seeing things from beginning to end. So that's why marketing was really a better fit for me. Whereas on a set, you do that one job and you're a little soldier and that's kind of what you do. So that quickly turned into digital marketing and that quickly turned into social media as the industry changed, because I've been in the industry a little bit longer than you all could probably remember. So, so yeah, and I think that, everyone else kind of hit the nail on the head. The big motivator is community. And the big motivator for me is just showing representation of different kinds of people. And anybody can wear makeup. Makeup is really meant, we believe, a benefit to just show your expression, show who you are, whether that's a 10-step process or that's putting on some mascara before you run out the door. So that's kind of a big motivator for me, as well as showing different people, different stories, and anybody can be a Bene Babe.
No, I agree. I think social media and the internet has allowed a lot of people to have a voice that they didn't have before. And like you said, it's so many different backgrounds, so many different diverse people that get to tell their story. But I also think people think social media is like glitz and glamour and it's kind of frivolous and it's not taken too seriously. So my next question is for you, Thais. What do you think the biggest challenge you face in your role or something that you least like that about what you do?
Yeah, I think to answer what I would least like is the honest truth is that I don't like to spend as much time on my own social media because social is nonstop. It is 24/7. There's no end to it. So I feel like trying to figure out that like balance between separating my, what I'm doing for work, but also separating my time for myself and being able to engage with my own community is probably the worst part. And I only don't like it because I haven't figured out that balance yet, right? It's trying to figure out that balance and what that looks like. But what I would say for me is it's a never ending like challenge to myself. So one day I'll figure it out, but that would be probably the least thing that I like about the job is that it's 24/7. So yeah.
No, I'm the same way. When I have clients and then I have to do my own social, I kind of just put it on the back burner, like, don't worry about that. So, Katie, how about you? Do you feel the same way about social? Or what are your thoughts? What is a challenge that you face in your job?
Absolutely. I love my job. I love what I do. Feel very blessed to do what I do. But at the same time, one of the comment of, well, that must be fun is always one where I'm like, yeah, but it's a job. The thing about really good creative is that part of your heart goes into it, no matter what. And it is a job, but you have to be passionate about it and you have to care. And so sometimes that can take a little bit of an emotional toll. It is for the best in the end, but trying to balance, how can you balance that out of, putting yourself in check. Am I passionate about this because this is something I really think that we need to do? Or am I passionate about this because my ego is getting in the way and I want to do something that I want to do? So yeah, I think, it's a 24-hour job. The passion never runs out. So just, that's one of the things too, is how do you kind of check out, give yourself a mental break, and remember that it is just a job at the end of the day, and keep that balance in check. I think is one of those challenging things.
I agree. Rocio, how about you? Biggest challenge or least liked aspect of your job?
Yeah, when you ask that question and like hearing them, it's interesting to know that that's also one of my challenges because I wish it was different, but just being a talent manager is kind of like a double-edged sword, is that the term, where I want to be helpful and I want to help creators 24/7, but then there's a challenge. The challenge is in trying to prioritize things and setting boundaries with creators. So
Yeah.
sometimes I have to play content creator with them, or like manager, and sometimes therapist to the creators themselves, and sometimes I can get lost in that and forget about myself too. And so over the past year, I think I've been learning to set those boundaries with certain creators, and it's a challenge that I'm still working on. So yeah.
No, I agree with you completely on the therapy part. Because a lot of times people are putting themselves out there, vulnerable. The ego's involved. So sometimes you have to kind of talk through things and really use a different aspect completely out of the creative to kind of, just coach somebody through that. So I agree completely. What is one skill you believe that is crucial to cultivate, if you're interested in working in social media? You know, anything you think. So, Katie, what do you think?
Definitely just the thirst to learn new skills. Social media and any kind of creative is ever changing day by day. We do monthly check ins, and that's still not nearly enough to capitalize on trends and things that are happening. Some days you're going to be there and someone might say, do you know how to make an Instagram filter? No, but I'm willing to learn. Let me go watch some YouTube videos and figure it out. Do you know Photoshop? Sure, but you don't. Go watch, go watch YouTube videos to figure it out. I think that's the biggest thing, is just to be flexible and to be willing to learn.
I agree. Rocio, what do you think? What is one skill you believe is crucial?
Going off of the the last question, like if you want to be a content creator, and that's something that I tell the clients that I work with all the time, the number one rule is you kind of just have to have tough skin, because if you're going to be putting yourself out there and be on the spotlight and be a content creator, it's not easy work. And if you're, if you don't learn to build that tough skin, it's gonna be difficult when you have those negative and nasty comments coming at you on your pages. And so if you want to be a content creator, just have tough skin.
I agree. Thais, what do you think?
I think it's really about keeping your ears to the ground. And what I mean by that is like consistently looking for trends and consistently knowing what's going on in the social space, right? Like TikTok is booming. And so I'm always telling people, like, if you want to be on that platform, right, you have to know what's trending, right? Are people like obsessively making, I don't know, burritos or quesadillas? Is the new sound a Nicki Minaj sound, right? Whatever it is that's going on in social, you just want to be able to know. So it's really about just being open eyes, open ears to make sure that you know what's trending.
I agree. So, I'm going to throw this right back to you, Thais. We kind of talked about it before, but do you think there's any misconceptions about social media, about your job, about what you do, maybe even people on, TikTok or Instagram that you'd like to clear up?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that it's a picture and it just goes and then that's it. And someone created a comment when it actually takes a very long time, right? There's a lot of people there. I always say there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. There's the creative team who's actually briefing. We brief them and they're coming up with concepts and actually filming this in real time. There's a lot of approval processes. A lot of the time I tell people, like, you might see a picture and a caption, but that went through like 20 or 30 people to even get approval, to even decide what the style is going to look like. So I think there's a misconception that it's an easy job because all you have to do is post something, when in reality, it takes a lot of work. I've seen campaigns that have taken 3 to 6 months to do. And then poof, in like 2 hours, they go live on a Saturday at 10 a.m. and then that's it. The job is done. So I think the misconception a lot of the time is that it's an easy job because it seems like superficially it seems easy, but it's a lot of work.
I agree. I've seen campaigns almost take a 6-month turnaround. So people think it's just, post and done. There was a lot that goes on behind that. So I agree. How about you, Katie?
Oh, absolutely. I could say the same thing. I think on the other side of that too, it's that social media lasts forever. So even if that picture goes up really quickly, maybe there was something that was misrepresented in the caption, maybe there was the photo that, like, we took it a step too far or something. Even when you take it down, the internet screenshots and they take it. So that is, I think, something that weighs on the shoulders of, you have to make these really quick decisions, to be on a trend, to kind of say something. And if it goes wrong, that stays with the brand for a very long time.
That is very true. The internet never sleeps. So, Rocio, what do you think? Any misconceptions or thoughts?
I was gonna say similar to that, like with content creators, at least on that end, it is a full-time job, and the biggest content creators out there, they have entire teams behind them. So they have a management team. Sometimes they have a full-on production team who edits their videos, and they even have assistants, and technically they're running their own small businesses too. So in terms of like creators, it is a full-time job for them. And so that's one misconception. And another one that I've heard is like, there's people that still don't think that social media or content creators can be part of the entertainment industry. But I think nowadays on YouTube and on TikTok, a lot of people are consuming content, and creators are creating entertainment content. And yeah, some people are just, on there just to be on there, and that's totally fine. But if you want to make a career out of it, then it is something that is a little bit more serious in that regard.
I agree. Okay, so I have one last question for our panelists, and then we're going to move into the Q&A. And just real quick, do you guys have any mentors or people that you look up to in your field? And if not, maybe is there an Instagram account or influencer that you think would be good for people to follow or that has really inspired you? Rocio, what do you think?
Yeah. See, mentors, that's kind of like a tough question for me because I feel like everyone in my life has been in some way or another a mentor to me and for me along the way to get to where I am today. But in the field, I would say my supervisor now, she's been in the digital space for so long before me. And, as a supervisor, I can always go to her if I'm finding myself in a pickle with a content creator, or like, if I ask her, like, have you encountered this before with a content creator, and how would you go about in this situation, or stuff like that. And so she's one of the biggest mentors for me at the moment in the space.
Very nice. How about you, Katie?
Absolutely. I would say my supervisor, who's the creative director, is a wonderful mentor to me. And I think that that's something, as some of you enter the workforce for the first time, is who would you be reporting to? That is something that I've always thought of when I've been at a job, is the person above me, is that somewhere I'd like to be and something that I'd like to grow into? Because I've definitely worked for some people who are not so happy, and I knew that that's not really the right spot for me. So luckily, I have a wonderful creative director, and she is encouraging to do this, that, and everything, which is makes it for a great work environment.
Awesome. How about you, Thais?
So I don't have technically a mentor. I've had great people in my life who don't even work in my field of work, that just like continue to inspire me and push me forward. Hollis is one of them, and she's on the call, and yes, she can get red and embarrassed, but it's true. She kind of pushed me to do what I want to do, and it's kind of why I'm here. Garnisha, who was also part of Step Up, I don't know if she still is, but Garnisha was someone that I met through Step Up, and she continued to mentor me, even though she didn't have to, and we work in two completely different fields. So I've just got lucky along the way to meet women that empower me and just push me forward, but never had like a solid mentor where like that's their exact title. I think they're just great people who loved me and saw potential in me, and pushed me forward. In terms of Instagram accounts that you can follow, there is an Instagram account called Career Contessa, and it's essentially an Instagram account, if you guys know, and it just speaks to like how to live a really like fulfilled / healthy like balance at work. And I've learned tons of stuff just through reading posts of like how to stop people pleasing, or like how to actually manage your time. And it gives good content. So if you want, I'll drop it in the chat, but Career Contessa ladies, it is the bomb.
They are, I can vouch for that as well. They are really, really great. So thank you, ladies, for answering those questions. We have actually a couple questions from the audience Q&A. So I'm just going to open up to you guys if you feel like you want to answer it. And if anybody else has any more questions, just put it in the chat, or you can unmute when there's a pause and you don't have any more questions. So the first question I have for you guys from the audience is, what should we search for on LinkedIn for these types of jobs? Like, what are the keywords that they would actually need to put in? So anybody can answer.
For a digital talent manager, I've seen like social media talent manager or digital manager. But I think for LinkedIn, but I think the best way would be looking at your favorite creators and seeing who's managing them, and then looking at those companies and seeing if they're hiring for managers or entry-level positions or anything like that.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. One thing that's really great is if you see someone that that you admire, or a position, go in their LinkedIn and see where they started. And then that's another great way to look for those sort of job descriptions. But as we all mentioned earlier, coordinator is a great keyword. If you want to work in production, junior producer, anything with junior in it is also a good one as well.
Awesome. So our next question is, what past experience helped you prepare for your current position?
I'll go with this one. So I worked in every possible internship under the sun that falls under communication. I did event production. I worked as a producer. I worked in corporate communications. I worked in PR. And so for me, I feel like picking up skills overall in communications helped me get to my role, because I was able to have those skills of wearing multiple hats, of knowing, how to support someone when I needed something in terms of like photo or imagery or like video. So I feel like me wearing multiple hats under communication and having those kind of internships allowed me to get to a space where I was really good at doing what I do now.
And I think that's important because a lot of times people think you have to be creative, but there's so many other skills when it comes to social media, from finding target audiences to looking at data to analyzing information. So people think like, oh, I don't know how to take good pictures, or I don't know how to write a good caption. It's so much more that goes into that. So I'm glad you talked about all the different things you did. So this is one of my favorite. I love asking this question. I ask this in interviews. I ask this in general to people, random strangers. I know it's a little weird, but what are your top 3 brands on social media that you love and why? That's kind of putting you on the spot. And Katie, you can't say Benefit. We're gonna need another one.
Lady Foot
So
Locker.
guys, what do you think?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. The internet's endless. I really like the Betches account, Betchs, because they're just funny women, and it's just a really great pop culture. It's more kind of millennial based. I'm not sure for some of the Gen Zers on the call, but shit you should know. Part of my language, but that is also a great one to kind of keep on track with some like hot political topics that are going on right now. But those are 2 of my favorites.
Rocio, any brands that you just really love or people online that you're just like, they are killing it?
All of them. I don't know if my creators are watching this, so just kidding.
That's a good one.
I just really enjoy comedy, and especially like the nostalgic comedy. So anything that's comedy related, it's good on my end.
Nice.
Mine are really random, but I'm going to share them. So Wendy's, the Wendy's account is top notch. I'm here for
Is this the Twitter account that you're
Yes, the Twitter account is
hands down
life, hands down. Telfar, if you guys know the brand, Black-owned brand, they do such a great job at really just speaking to the community that buys their items and really just speaking to like who they are as a brand. So they do amazing across Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. And also this is like a random one. I love me a meme or two. So I always love going on My Therapist Says, and it's just because it hits me somewhere that, it feels really intimate. I feel like they're just talking to me. So those are probably the 3 accounts that I would suggest. Go have a laugh or 2.
Very cool. This is another good question that I think is good. What are your favorite social trends? I was just having a conversation about TikTok and how these people will do like a day in the life or like what I eat in a day. And I'm just like mesmerized. And I'm like, would I randomly watch strangers? Like, I don't know why it's so intriguing to me. So I'm curious to what you guys think. What are your favorite social trends that you see right now?
Well, for me, one that already passed is within this year, but it seems like it was years ago for me. But it was just the fruit bowl cereal with like it was just like a bunch of berries. It was the strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries, and like ice, and people were eating it as if it was cereal. Oh, with coconut water. And as I was eating it, I was like, wait a minute, this is just like eating fruits and drinking water, but it's a trend.
I remember that one. I was kind of like, I think they were putting ice in it. It was just different, very different. Guys, anything else? Katie, Thais?
One of my favorite trends right now, it's an ongoing trend, but I just love the whole idea of TikTok, how there's sounds that are taken from, doesn't even matter from when. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like recent movies or TV shows. And people are reinventing them in so many different ways. And as someone who has a background in video editing, it just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like the way you can watch people's brains work and interpret, good soup could be so many different ways. So I think that's one of my favorite things.
Awesome. We have a couple more questions, but what would be any advice that you would give to future content creators? You've worked in the industry for a little bit, you've seen different things, maybe what not to do, maybe what they should be doing, what they should be looking at. Any tips?
I would say be authentic to yourself. People don't want to go to your channel to hear you talk about the same thing that 100 other people are talking about. People want to learn about who you are. They want to know what you find funny, what you like. I feel like a lot of people get stuck in this idea that they need to influence, when in the reality, just share what you love and it'll come off and people will start to like it because you like it. So I think it's just being authentic is probably the best advice I can give.
And I agree with that so much, Thais, because I feel like you said people feel like they have to do so much more. And I'm like, what you think is boring is probably so fascinating to other people. And because you do it all the time, you don't really think it's like something that's creative, but just being yourself is the key to really doing great. So I agree with that. Rocio, Katie, any thoughts?
I would just say everything's experience, you know. One of the parts of my journey was in my earlier years as a photographer is I would just go to small businesses, be like, would you like some pictures? And just ask, you know. Sometimes I got paid in cookies, sometimes I got paid, you know, in small bits, but there you go. You have a portfolio now, and that is part of your experience, and that's something you can put on a resume.
Nice. So I think we have one more question, maybe a couple more, but this last question I think is really important to kind of throw out to you guys. And the question is, if you could have your legacy be anything, what would you want to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be?
I can answer this one. Well, yeah, for me, it's just creating impact. So whether that's like through a social media content creator, if I'm able to help them be a full-time content creator and create an impact for them in that way, then that's fulfilling for me. Whether that's like representing certain type of creators for people, or having others see themselves in me or something like that, and that's great, just because you know, I know that this is like a new industry, and so yeah, just creating impact.
Katie, Thais, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be?
We're both like, no, you go. You know, I just really, really want there to be connection with the kind of content we put out there. My hope and my dream is that someone walks by a benefit ad, you know, in a Sephora, and they say, that feels like me, that feels like someone that is representing me, and I never got to see that before. So that's one of the biggest things that I hope to make an impact on and benefit.
Honestly, I just want my legacy to be that people enjoy being around me and love being loved. I just want people to remember me as like humorous and someone who just loves to love. That's really it. It sounds really corny and superficial, or super, it sounds like, oh, cheesy, but it's true. I just want people to feel good around me, and to feel loved.
And I think that is an amazing thing, because I think if we all did a little bit more of that and wanted to do that, I think especially now, given the times and everything we've been through, that would be very, very helpful, especially online. So I think that's great. So I think we're running out of time now, but we have so many great questions. I think there's about 3 or 4 other questions in the chat. You know, if there's, maybe we can send you an email or text or something to follow up on these, or maybe if you want to direct email me or connect on LinkedIn, maybe some of the panelists can also answer some of the questions that we didn't get to. But I want to thank you guys so much, because these have been a great conversation, and I really appreciate all your insights. And I tell people to work on your relationships. So if you see somebody here that they're doing something that you're really interested in, don't hound them. Don't, like, you know, call them and say, I want a job, but get to know them, maybe ask them a question if they have time, and see how you can also grow your career. So.
Baba, thank you so much. I am so full, you all. We've really been dreaming about this workshop since last spring, and I just can't think of a more wonderful group of panelists. So I want to thank you, Rocio and Thais and Katie, for your time. I know I'm super inspired and grateful just for the time together and the expertise that was shared. I think there were lots of wonderful gems that, you know, I even wrote down, particularly you know, around like really having tough skin and being able to jump in and figure things out. I think that was something awesome that I believe Katie said, like when someone throws something your way, to not come from oh, I don't know that, but let me Google it. Let me find it out on YouTube. So really appreciate you all, and if you all could put some thank yous in the chat for our panelists, that would be awesome. And I'm going to turn things over to Sophia, who's going to lead us into the next portion of the workshop.
Thanks, Hollis, and thanks all of our panelists. That was so awesome. I have seen some love in the chat, so let's keep that going for them. We are going to transition into networking breakout rooms, but before that, I have a question for you all. There should be a poll that pops up on the screen. We want to know, what is your favorite form of social media? Is it Instagram? Are you snapping away on Snapchat? Are you talking to all your aunties and uncles on Facebook, tweeting it up with Wendy's on Twitter? What is your favorite form of social media? Any time of day, you can catch me on Instagram. I am always scrolling. I scroll way too hard. People are always like, oh, Sophia, I went to go send you this meme, but you had already liked it, because I am an obsessive scroller. It's a bad thing. I even think I have like a little neck thing from it right now, but that's okay. It's all okay. We all have our vices and all the things that bring us joy and pleasure. And I'm not alone. So Instagram is the winner, with Twitter at a far second, but nothing for Snapchat or Facebook. So again, I'm not alone. Thank you for validating my social media habits. I want to check in with Amanda, see that how we're doing, ready for breakout rooms.
We're all set.
Cool. Awesome. So we're going to go into breakout rooms, do some networking with other people that work in the social media industry, some of your peers, and then we'll do a social media consultation activity and come back and share out. So looking forward to hearing about your experiences. See you soon.
We had a great time in our breakout group, and I will say that we spent a lot of time going through more speed networking questions and just connecting on that level. So we didn't spend as much time on the dating app, but if there is and so I didn't get an opportunity to grab a volunteer, but if there is someone from our breakout group who would like to share either a takeaway from some of the things that were shared from our mentors in the space, or something, recap our dating app strategy, please unmute yourself. We would love your feedback. Don't all volunteer at once. Okay, well, it's okay. You're feeling a little shy on Friday Eve. That's okay. So we developed our social media strategy was for a dating app that we're marketing towards single moms, and we decided that this app we utilize Instagram and YouTube as the platforms that we share, because we recognize that children spend a lot of their time on YouTube, and mothers are on YouTube looking for things, and then also they're on Instagram sharing pictures of their children. So that might be a great way to engage them. And then one of the strategies would be to promote a mom's night out that includes a little bit of wine to engage moms to engage with the app. And one of the one of the things that Thais shared in that breakout that I thought was really valuable is just this idea that sometimes you have to do work that you don't necessarily enjoy to find the thing that you actually really do enjoy. And so she talked about working at lots of different positions, but getting closer to recognizing what I really enjoy is creating content for brands. And so to give yourself a little grace and patience as you're exploring that. And then want to shout out Carmen's YouTube channel, where she does some tutorials. So make sure you drop it in the chat so we can all be viewing and celebrating your work. So that was us in group one. Sophia, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Hollis. I really like, I was thinking when you were sharing about utilizing YouTube like ads, and then the kids watching the YouTube ads being like, Mom, you should use this dating app, and having them, that's really who your target audience is. That's awesome. Okay, we also were having such a great conversation in our group that we didn't even attempt to do a social media project. We just like ran out of time, and we're such good nuggets. But I wanted to ask either Stacy or Alejandra if they want to share some things from our group. I saw them both taking notes, which is why I'm calling them. Go ahead, Alejandra.
Yeah, we were just kind of asking questions about like specific roles that are available and like how we can find these roles. Katie mentioned like going on the website and looking for them, or even going on the like creators LinkedIn and searching like their job histories and kind of seeing where they started, or even like messaging them and just kind of like I guess asking a lot of questions and just get your foot in the door and just do it basically.
Totally. Thank you, Alejandra. I think something that was good was to follow up from that was following up on LinkedIn and finding all the people. I loved Katie's tip of seeing a job posted on a job board that you're interested in, and then going on LinkedIn and seeing all the people that are associated with that role within the company, and poking them and waving your hand and saying hi and connecting with them through LinkedIn. And that's we're in a virtual space world right now, more than we have ever before. And so it's a good platform to utilize in your job hunt and networking needs. Anything else from our group? Anybody wanted to share? All right, no problem. Thank you all so much for sharing. We have some questions for you now, our young adult audience. So if you are a mentor or over the age of, I don't know, 25, you don't have to answer this, or if you're a staff member. Anyway, so here are some questions on the poll on the screen. After the session, how much do you know about the skills and interests needed and the types of job opportunities in the social media career field? Much less than I knew before, less than I knew before, equally as much as I knew before, more than I knew before, or much more than I knew before. So take a minute to answer those poll questions, submit your poll questions. Again, this is just for our young adult audience. Amanda will let me know when we're good. And our second question, thank you all for answering the first one. Second question, in which ways did the mentors, both panelists and breakout room mentors, maximize your experience in this session? You can select all that apply. So they helped me feel motivated. They helped me learn new skills. They helped me gain access to places and spaces. They helped me in ways not even listed here, or they didn't help me in any way. All of your input is super beneficial and helps us make stronger and more robust content for you all. So we were talking about data analytics in our small group and how important it is to be able to analyze data and move forward and ask questions and respond accordingly. And this is us asking you so we can respond accordingly. So be as critical as possible. Thank you all. Okay, I have a couple announcements and exciting upcoming opportunities for you. So experience-ships, we talked about them a little bit in our small group. They are 2-week-long virtual work placement, like kind of between a job shadow and an internship. This year's hosts include, but are not limited to Facebook, Innovation Protocol, Parker Clay, Home Depot, Benefit Cosmetics is here today. They're also hosting us. So some really awesome opportunities, some ways to get your foot in the door, learn about the skills and apply social networking, social capital skills to real life experiences. And thank you, Juliet. She dropped the link in the chat for a blog post to learn more. And I'm going to drop the link just so you can go straight to the application in a second too. Another exciting, super exciting opportunity that's coming up is our ambassador program. Are you seeking leadership, community building, and extracurricular opportunities to add to your resume? Step Up is searching for enthusiastic representatives to be the face and voice of the organization in your communities. For 6 months, high school, teen, and young adult ambassadors ages 14 to 23 will increase program awareness by promoting Step Up and recruiting new members through social media and in-person opportunities. You can learn more and apply at the link that Juliet shared in the chat as well. So exciting stuff coming up on the new year after you get a good rest from over your holiday break. And again, I'll drop the link for the Experienship application in a minute. But before I do that, I have a very exciting announcement too. We have a winner for our giveaway. Stacy Ramirez was the first person to register for the event and is here today and asked some really great questions in our small group. So Stacy, we're celebrating you and your participation in So You Wanna Work in Social Media. If you could message your mailing address to Juliet, that would be great. We can get your gift to you as soon as possible. And that's all we have.
That's it. It's a
That's
wrap.
it.
This is the final one. Well, again, want to thank you ladies so much for joining us today. I know it's finals. I know there's so many things as I said, as we wrap up the year, but it means the world that you have joined us. And really, want you to know we want to continue releasing programs that you all feel engaged with and inspired by. And so please reach out to Sophia and I and let us know what you want to see more of, because we want to make sure that happens. And absolutely save the link for the Experientships. It's going to look super great on your resume. You want to take advantage of that opportunity. The young woman that Katie mentioned works at Benefit, started out with an Experientship. Am I making that up, Sophia? I am making that up. Just kidding. Take that back. Okay, well, I had to be strong and wrong. But
there was an experience. It wasn't at Benefit, but maybe this year we'll see.
It was 24/7.
It was another company. It's okay. But that did happen.
But it is true. It is true. This is a safe space. It is true that folks are getting opportunities from these interactions. So make sure you're connecting on LinkedIn, apply for the opportunities, because you can land a full-time job later. Thais is a totally awesome example. Yeah, I'm getting long-winded, but apply for things. We're so grateful for you attending, and have a fantastic rest of your week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Let me keep myself